Now, and we are going to go live on Facebook. So, who else is there on the call? So, we have Kathy Neil Papu is going to join us in a bit, and then we have Ashana Mataji joining us from India. Awesome. So, I was thinking that I should start to share the screen, right, with you all? Okay,
Yes.
good. So, let's just go and do that. Let me go here, and I have got hundreds of other, windows open. Let me close all of them because I was doing some work last night. Okay, so let's see. We have Bhagavad-gita 1.7 and chapter 1 is what we're going to read today. Okay, and all right. There's one more thing I wanted here. All right. A few more things for me to just close down or open. Yeah. And I'm beginning to start sharing my screen with you. If you can confirm what you can see on your screen, if you're able to see. Bhagavad-gita chapter 1, observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra.
Yes,
Can you
Mataji,
see
we
that?
can see it.
Okay. Oh,
Yes, we can
good.
see Mataji.
Perfect. Okay. So how are you all doing today?
We are good, Mataji.
Good.
Feeling
Hanging in
blessed.
there? Being safe? Okay. Good, good.
Feeling blessed that we are doing Bhagavad Gita
That
class.
is true. That is true. This is a special arrangement made by Krishna.
Yes.
Yeah, for us to do that. I was reflecting on that the rivers are getting cleaned up because of the air is getting cleaned.
Yeah.
Our minds are getting cleaned, which is the most important thing.
My
And this is
mom,
really
I
a time.
was telling my mom, this is Corona virus for
Karuna,
Earth.
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Exactly. Well said.
and with the onslaught
How
of
was your first day in the office, Mataji?
Yeah, it was good, Mataji. I joined at relatively such a short notice, but it was good.
Good.
Learning few things and doing mostly the paperwork yesterday. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, I was also kind of just thinking that as we see this as we see what's happening around us, right? The virus is there, the shortage of supplies is there, and then there are accusations and counter accusations and so on and so forth. But whatever it is, the fact is that we have corona around us, and that makes me appreciate. And it's like shelter in place. Where do you go? Where do you go? Where do you run away from corona?
yeah,
You can't
the
run
word
away
is
anywhere.
also really good, right? Shelter in place.
Yeah.
We are in shelter of Krishna.
We are in
So,
shelter of Krishna, exactly. And then and which is the thing that we need to do. So this is Krishna's way of saying, hey, you have done a lot of work from home, work overnight, making calls and this and that, but it's time for you now to take shelter. And this makes us appreciate Krishna's pastimes, like Govardhan Leela. What exactly does it mean? What exactly does it mean when Indra starts pouring torrential rains on you?
Yes.
From the
lockdown
top,
for them,
right?
shelter
Even
under
that was
between.
also quarantine for
Yeah,
them for 7
all
days.
that. So it
7
is,
nights.
yeah. I mean, the words might sound cliche, but it is a fact. It is a fact, and we have to make most use of it. So how am I going to spend my time? Am I going to start trying new recipes, new things to eat? How do I entertain myself? Well, there's no entertainment other than Krishna Katha, real everlasting entertainment. So that's good. Yeah. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Real Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Sorry for running late.
No problems. So now that you're here, we'll get started. Om Ajnanatimarandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Okay, so observing the armies on the battlefield, and I have my console below on the bottom of my screen, and so we will go. Why don't you go ahead today, Kathy Mataji,
Sure.
first, and then we'll just speak. And Ashana Mataji, if it's okay with you, then I will go by how you all are
Yes.
appearing on my screen, so that I can go. So Kathy and Neeral are there in the same place, so they can go in first, and then you go, and then
Sure.
whoever joins can join after you, and then we'll just keep on going on that. Okay. All right. So yes, go ahead between the two
Text.
of you.
Text 1. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra desiring to fight, what did they do? Sanjaya said, O king, after looking over the army arranged in a military formation by the son of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and spoke the following words.
Text 3. O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupad. Here in this army are many heroic bowmen, equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna, great fighters like Yudhana, Virata, and Drupad.
Text 5. There are also great heroic, powerful fighters like Drishtaketu, Chekistan, Kashi Raja, Purujit, Kunti Bhoj, and Shebya.
Okay.
There
Who is
are
after Drishtaketu? Who is after Drishtaketu? Drishtaketu? Drishtaketu. Who's after that?
Chekistan,
Just look at it again.
Chekistana,
Just look at it again.
Chekitana.
Jayagitana, right? Okay, good. Yeah. Then let's go to the next verse. I'm going to scroll a little bit, huh? Varshanamati, just hold on for
Yes,
me.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
please. Yeah, go ahead.
There are the mighty Yudhamanyu, the very powerful Uttamoja, the son of Subhadra and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. Hare Krishna.
But for your information, O best of the Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are specially qualified to lead my military force. They are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwathama, Vikarna, and the son of Somadatta called Bhurishrava, who are always victorious in battle.
There are many other heroes who prepare to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with the different kinds of weapon and all are experienced in military science. Our strength is immeasurable and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited.
All of you must now give full support to Grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army.
Okay, I'm going to scroll up.
Sure.
All right.
Then Bhishma, the great valiant grandchild of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy.
Text 13. After that, the conch shells, drums, bugles, trumpets, and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was tumultuous. On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on the great chariot drawn by the white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shells. Hare Krishna.
Lord Krishna blew his conch shell called Panchajanya. Arjun blew his, the Devdatta, and Bhima, the voracious eater and performer of Herculean tasks, blew his terrific conch shell called Pondra. King Yudhishthira, the son of Kunti, blew his conch shell, the Ananta Vijaya, and Nakul and Sahadeva blew the Shughosha and Manipushpaka. That great archer, the king of Kashi, the great fighter Shikhandi, Drishtadyumna, Virat, the unconquerable Satiki, Drupada, the sons of Draupadi, and others, O king, such as the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conch shells.
The blowing of these different conch shells became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the son of Dhritarashtra. At the same time, Arjuna, the son of Pandu, seated in the chariot bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra drawn in military array, Arjuna then spoke to Lord Krishna these words.
Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies, so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in the great trial of arms. Let me see who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra.
Text 24. Sanjay said, O descendant Bharata, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both the parties. You want to scroll up, Mataji?
Thank you. All right. 25.
Yes. In the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all the other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here. Hare Krishna.
There Arjuna could see within the midst of the armies of both parties his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his fathers-in-law and well-wishers. When the son of Kunti, Arjuna, saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus.
Arjuna said, My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. My whole body is trembling, my hair is standing on end, my bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning.
Okay, you want to scroll up?
Yes, I'm going to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune. O Krishna, healer of KCT. I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsman in this battle. Nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness.
Text 32 to 35. O Govinda, of what avail to us are the kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arid on this battlefield? O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers-in-law, grandsons, brothers-in-law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? Text 36. Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of goddess of fortune? And how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? Hare Krishna.
Text 37 and 38. O Janardana, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, who can see the crime in destroying a family, engage in these acts of sin? With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion.
When irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. An increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestor of such corrupt families fall down because the performance for offering them food and water are entirely stopped.
By the evil deeds of those who destroy the family traditions and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I have heard by disciplinary succession that those whose family traditions are destroyed will always in hell.
Yes, ma'am. O
40,
Krishna, 43. O Krishna, maintainer of
44.
people, 44. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness. We are intent on killing our own kinsmen. Better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapon in hand, were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield. Hare Krishna.
46. Sanjaya said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna. So we read one chapter of Bhagavad Gita again today. Good for us. Okay, so we will go into text number 7 is what we were doing, right?
Yes, Mother.
Asmakam tu vishishtaye tani bodha dijottama nayaka mama sanyasya sangyartham tan brahmimite. Right? And what was the translation for that?
Hare Krishna Mataji. It will be Tan Abravimi Te or Tan Bravimi Te. Because in the words, it is Abravimi, that's why. No, you're right, Mataji. I was.
Yeah, sometimes the characters just show up like that. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
Mataji.
I know. I mean, it happens with age, Kathy. You can't tell that now.
No, it happens with me also, Mataji. Don't worry.
For me, when I look at sometimes when I look at the books, the characters start moving, the letters
Yeah.
start moving. Welcome
That
to
is happening with me, especially now because my glasses, my number decreased, so I didn't made the new glasses.
Yeah.
But I mean, sometimes I do have problem looking at.
Exactly. Yes. I mean, this is padam padam yad vipadam natesham. In this world, at every step there is a danger, and it could be a danger of losing the right prescription, the right glasses. Slowly, as these things, if Corona doesn't go away, or if this happens to be a longer stay, then we will be forced, like how much can you hide? You'll be forced to go and get the right prescription, weathers will change, all that kind of stuff. But I was also thinking that this might also be a good idea. This is a good opportunity. Because of this, some people might be forced to give up their bad habits. For example, those who used to go out to a pan shop and eat pan.
Yeah.
What are they doing now?
The police are standing there.
Smoke outside the home. What are they doing now? Like that. Yeah. Illicit relationships. All that have to stop. Because you're stuck in your home. So I was just laughing at the brighter side of Corona. I like that. Yeah. So he had given yesterday very excellent comments on, what that simple statement in the Bhagavad Gita, how much you can still, draw. And I had used the example of Bhagavad Gita being an ocean, and the deeper you dive into the ocean,
Yeah.
and the more pearls that you get from there, right?
Mm.
So and so he's just so in the previous verses we saw that Duryodhan was talking to Dronacharya, and he had listed all those people who are there in the Pandavas army, right? And I had mentioned yesterday that he's talking in the midst of the army. So if you're leading an army, and he was leading a kingdom, he was the king. And if you have talked about the formidable people who are there on your opponent side, then your own army will get demoralized, right?
Yeah.
They might have fear. I mean, there's already fear in Duryodhan's heart. There's fear in Dhritarashtra's heart. But now his whole army will go crazy if they hear the leader is saying like this. So the leader's job is to encourage, right? So then immediately, and Duryodhan is very shrewd. So then he comes here and he says, but for your information, O best of the Brahmanas, now let me tell you about the captains who are specially qualified to lead my military force. Now here the thing is that Duryodhan is his teacher. He has taught him military art, right? And obviously when Duryodhan was planning with, his chieftains on how to lay. I'm pretty sure the Kauravas would have also had the phalanx or phalanx, as the Americans say, right? So phalanx. So when he was laying it out, he would have consulted his teacher, right? It's not that the whole army was laid out with, and Dronacharya had no idea about it. So it's not that Dronacharya doesn't know who the chieftains in that army are, right? There's no need to know that.
Yes.
He already knows that, right? But see here, then he's just saying, oh, best of the Brahmas, let me tell you about the captains who are specially qualified. So sometimes what happens is that two things. One thing that is coming out from here is that he has already spoken some words which might discourage his army. So now he's going to talk about his own strength, right? Strength of his army. So, and that's again something that we have to apply in our devotional service. Don't get bogged down that every time Shraddha Mataji says, Padam Padam Yad Vipadam Natesham. So what am I going to do? I'm already doomed. I'm in hell. What am I going to do? No, look at your positive things as well. And so you always have to start your day in a positive way, right? To get up that kind of a positive energy in you to handle out whatever the day is going to handle out to you, right? So he's saying, he's going to say that he's going to now talk about his strength, because to make sure that his army doesn't get discouraged. And then he's also emphasizing sometimes when you repeat something, you are repeating it for emphasis. It's not that the other person doesn't know. He's just emphasizing that fact that, look here, we also have God. So because Dronacharya could also get afraid in his heart by looking at Pandava's organization of the army, right? So he's also emphasizing like that, okay, here we also have got good people. So here we have to win, we have to win the race, right? Like that. So he will emphasize that. And one of our, acharyas, they give this example that when you get initiated, right? And you must have watched, initiation lectures happening in the temple, heard the lecture. So, and all of them will, in the lecture, they will tell the disciple that, you should be speaking nicely, mukhe prasadat, you should not eat onion and garlic. Now, does the disciple not know by that time that he's taking initiation, which means he has spent some time under the shelter of his spiritual master. He has spent some time, practicing devotional service, the rules and the do's and the don'ts. Does he not know? He knows, right? But the spiritual master will repeat it for emphasis. They want to emphasize this fact that this is what it is. So this is what Duryodhana is doing here again. Now, again, look at Duryodhana. He has this thing. He knows in his heart that Arjuna is Dronacharya's favorite. He knows that, okay, he is on my payroll, as most of us are on somebody's payroll, but it's not necessarily that we have given our hearts to our company. Our hearts are someplace else. Our hearts are with Krishna, right? So so he has this thing in his head that Dronacharya has got this soft corner for the Pandavas, and I hope he stays on our side, and I hope he applies his mind and intelligence on our side. So let me just butter him up a little bit. So how does he address him?
Oh, best of Brahmana.
Best of the
best of the Brahmana, Dvijottama. So Dvija means one who is
second
twice born, right? Dvija is twice born. So what are the two births that the Brahmana gets?
one
Like
is a childbirth.
Yagnopavit, right?
Yeah, so one is the normal seminal birth, right? Like everybody else has. And then the second time he has a second birth when he gets the sacred third ceremony, right? So Dvija. Now, I just wanted to point out when we're talking about Dvijas, the word Dvija, Dvi is two and Ja is born. So Dvija sometimes also applies to those who are born from eggs. Andaja, those who are born from eggs, because the first birth is when the mother lays the egg. And the second birth is when the child comes out of the egg, right? So sometimes they also addressed as Dvijas. And then Uttama, so he's saying you are the best of the Brahmanas. Is he really the best of the Brahmanas? Maybe not, right? Because what is a Brahman supposed to do? Patan, yajan, right? Dan parigraha. But he's not, he's making money, right? He's teaching. So, but still, he's doing that to puff him up, and that's why he's saying that, oh, best of the Brahmanas, um, like that. And so, just what Duryodhana is trying to do here is button him up, and then also tell him that among all the thoughts that are going in your head, this is the thought that should be highest in your head, that we also have got good people on our army. So let that positive thought be in your head, so that all the negatives, like, oh my goodness, that army is so formidable, look at the phalanx they have laid out, and so on and so forth, that should not bring you down like that, right? And then by Duryodhana speaking like this, when he was speaking earlier about the Pandavas being laid out so nicely, he was actually trying to also induce some fear in Kripacharya, in Dronacharya, that, okay, see, look at them, right? And but he's saying, okay, we said that, I've said that, you be afraid. I mean, it's a good fear to know the strengths of your enemy, but don't get bogged down. So he's trying to show the confidence that, that we will win, right? So he's concerned inside him, inside Duryodhana, he's concerned. Maybe he's agitated also about, the formation which is there. But sometimes the leader, is like they might appear calm and quiet on the surface, and
Inside there.
yeah, but inside they are, like you see a duck, she goes very smoothly. When duck, if you have seen ducks, swimming on a pond or on a lake, they are going very, very smoothly. But underneath, what are they doing? They are very agitated. The feet are going like that, like that, like that. So that's what they are, right? So so this the Dvijyotama that he's using for Dronacharya is, it's a respectful word. He'll be happy, then he will put his heart, right? If I make you happy, then you will give me your heart, right? It will become a heart to heart connection, right? So like that. So yeah, so that's one thing. Now here is also one important thing, and let's go back again. Yeah, he's also saying, asmakam, our. So this word our can be interpreted in so many ways. Our could also mean that, how the, in the Hindi language, you'll be able to appreciate that much when people use the word plural like that, especially hum, how the royalty will say, right, hum khana khayenge. It doesn't mean that me and everybody else in the room is going to eat food. He's just talking about himself, right? Hum khayenge, like that. So it could be like hamari army, could be like, it's my army, right? My army. But actually, the army, technically speaking, is not his, because the army belongs to the commander-in-chief. And the commander-in-chief is, Bhishma Deva, and not Duryodhana. So he's just saying like that as well. So these are some of the thoughts, the points of the thoughts, that are there, that we could just, again, build these things up here. So should we go to the next verse? Are you guys have time to do more? You guys are okay? Okay, good. All right, thank you, devotees, for continuing on. So now, let's see. 1.8.
Yes.
Bhavami.
Whose turn? Yeah. Whose turn is it today?
Yeah, Mataji, my turn.
Okay, go ahead.
Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha Kripascha Samiti Jaya Ashwatthama Vikarnascha Somadatischa Tathivascha.
Tathivacha, yeah. Okay, synonyms.
Bhavan, your good self. Bhishma, grandfather Bhishma. Cha, also. Karna. Karna. Cha, and. Krupa, Krupa, Cha, and Samitim Jayaha, always victorious in battle. Ashwathama, Ashwathama, Vikarna, Vikarna, Cha, as well as Saumadatihi, the son of Saumadatta, Tatha, as well as Eva, certainly, Cha, also.
Translation. May I read, Mataji?
Yes.
There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karan, Kripa, Ashwastama, Vikrana, and the sons of Somatatta called Bhurishva, and who are always victorious in battle. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Purport. Duryodhan mentions the exceptional heroes in the battle, all of whom are ever victorious. Vikarna is the brother of Duryodhan. Ashwathama is the son of Dronacharya. And Saumyadatti or Bhurishrava is the son of the king of the Bahalikas. Karn is the half brother of Arjuna, as he was born of Kunti before her marriage with King Pandu. And Kripacharya's twin sister married Dronacharya. Right? So he's talking about all these personalities that are there. So comments and reflections.
I felt that Duryodhana is seeking like a self-affirmation after he saw that the other party is also has like so much of strength. So now he is counting the strength and he wants other people to even say yes, yes, so that his sense of fear gets like mild and he gets more confidence. So,
Yes, yeah, from fear to confidence. Yeah.
yeah, that's why he's listing all people that he feels are his strength.
Yeah. Yeah. What else do you think?
So they're saying always victorious in battle. How are they saying that?
Good point. What does it mean to be always victorious in battle? How do you know that?
Because do they keep on fighting battles?
People
Or?
keep on fighting. But how do you know? They keep on fighting, but then, but that other word always is a loaded word. Is
Yeah.
always means that you are referring to the past,
Yes.
or always means that he will always be victorious.
Yeah.
But I think when you need like the self-affirmation, you will forget and you will see only what you want to see, right? And since he wants to win, he's saying they have always been victorious.
I really liked your comment when you said that they will see what they want to see. We do see
It happens
what
many times.
it happens to everybody. Actually, we see what you want to see. It's a very interesting thing. And I was going to talk about that probably in my class in the evening today, the 6 o'clock Bhagavad-gita class. But since you brought it up, it's a very interesting observation that you are making. And that is that we see what we want to see. One might think that our knowledge gathering senses, right? They are called knowledge gathering senses. We have 5 of them, right? What are those 5 knowledge gathering senses? Do you want to tell me? You have senses?
Yeah.
Same sentence.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Eyes, ear,
Eyes,
Eyes,
ears,
ears, nose,
skin,
nose,
Eyes, ears, and nose. You have only 3 senses to bother you?
mind,
um,
I'm 5, I'm asking.
skin.
sense.
skin, and then tongue, right?
Tongue. Okay, right? So these are the 5 senses. And so they gather knowledge. So it might look, apparently it might look that, somewhere somebody is letting out knowledge, right? For example, I bring a flower, a nice red color flower. So I have presented some form before you, and that form fell on your eye. So you notice that there's a flower, right? Similarly, the flower has got nice smell. So your nose got that smell and your nose. So it looks like that they are passive, right? It looks like they're passive. They're not doing anything, right? The karmendriyas seem to be doing the work, right? Karmendriyas. I'm doing some action. I've got a tongue, I'm vibrating it. I've got a hand, I'm raising my hand, saying Haribol, like that. I've got legs, I'm walking, and so on and so forth, right? So it might look like that these are the knowledge acquiring senses, the Jnanendriyas, are passive, but they are actually not passive. Because as Vaishana Mataji was pointing out, that we also have got a sixth sense, which is the mind. And it is actually the mind that controls that out of all the pieces of information which are being laid out to you. I mean, this world is very complicated. The world has got, there's a lot of information in this world, lot of it. But then when you look at it, your eyes are actually, our senses are actually always seeking their sense objects. Our eyes are always trying to see what we want to see. So when you go to a particular place, for example, if you go to a children's park, you might see, oh, it is so full of people, it's so full of kids, oh, there is a, the crowd over here, I don't like crowd, it's dusty. What does a child see there? Does the child see the crowd?
Fun.
He's
No.
fun, right?
He looks at the fun.
You see? So what is it behind? I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing that has been presented before you, but we pick and choose. And the driving factor for us is the mind, which is behind us. So yes, yes, Duryodhan can see, because Duryodhan did not see Krishna at all. Whatever you want to see is what you're going to see there, right? So
Yeah, he did not mention Krishna at all there.
Because he's like looking at the people who are going to fight and going to win the battle, right? He thinks Krishna is not going to fight, and then
Krishna
he's
is not
happy that
fighting, so
his
he's not. Yeah.
Yes, he's fighting, right.
Yeah. So
right.
he's on the grass level, right?
yeah.
Not thinking
And
about
then
the
he's
stuff
also happy that he has his military on his side, right?
on his side. Yes. So he's betting on all the wrong horses, right? So, right. So he start. Yeah. Go ahead. More thoughts.
And then he also like list out people, yes, Bhishma, Dronacharya, and Kripacharya.
Mm-hmm.
But then his favorites are Karna and Ashwatthama, right? So he puts like Karna first than anyone else, because he has so much of confidence on Karna because of his friendship.
Very nice, very nice. And a very nice point that you're bringing is the order in which he is listing out these people, right? So who is the commander of the army?
Bhishma.
So shouldn't Bhishma name have come first when you're listing the great people in the army? Won't you start with that, right?
But then he's talking to Dronacharya.
He's so smart. Yes, he's so smart.
So he said him first, you, Bhishma, then
Yes.
Bhishma, you, Bhishma.
That is one, right? So you might think that he's very smart and that's why his name should come first. But there are also another reason that Drona is actually at a higher position than Bhishma. Do you want to guess what it is? And it was mentioned in the previous verse.
Mataji, he's a Brahmana also, and he is a Kshatriya also. He's teaching them. He was a teacher.
Yes, it is because he's a Brahmana. So if you look at the Varnas, Varnashram, then Brahmanas are at the higher level. Actually, I was just reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, where we are talking about Rishabh-dev's teachings. Rishabh-dev's teachings to his 100 sons, right? So Rishabh-dev is an incarnation of the Lord, and he has come here basically and he was instructing his 100 children, basically to show to the rest of the world how parents should be instructing their children. So he gives those instructions, and there he's talking about that, he goes through a hierarchy. So the first hierarchies are the ones that don't, are the ones that have no consciousness at all. So we have the stones, right? Stones and stuff like that. Then higher than that are the ones that have some consciousness, but they don't move. Can you give me an example of something that has consciousness and does not move?
Plants,
right? So they are plants. And then, above the plants will come those who move, and, there's a hierarchy of animals, and then there are human beings. And above the human beings, actually, he puts the ghosts are above the human beings. I was very surprised when I read that. As part of his instructions, he says that ghosts are higher because ghosts don't have a gross body. A gross body gives you trouble. And then above the ghosts are the Gandharvas, and so on and so forth. And he lists all of them, and then he says that so there is there are the demigods, and then on the top of the demigods there's Shiva, and on top of Shiva he puts Brahma, which might be very surprising to us again, because if you look at the how they are situated in the universe, Brahma is on the topmost material planet, and then on top of that is Sadashiv, who's in between the material and the spiritual planets, and then of course in the spiritual planets you have Vishnu, but he is listing Shiva, and then on top of Shiva he's saying Brahma. And the reason he's saying that is because Brahma has given birth to Shiva, right? Rudra comes from his forehead. So like that, from that perspective, he's putting that. So you see, when people are laying an hierarchy and using certain things in a particular order, they are doing it for a particular reason. And they have a particular perspective, they have a particular idea, there's a particular message they are trying to convey, and like that. So there he says, and then of course then on top of Brahma is Vishnu, so he's there on the top of it. But then he says, on the top of me are the Brahmanas. So Krishna puts the Brahmanas there, way up on the top. So that's why Drona's position is higher. So that's why he's listing that out, right? And then again, he says Bhavan Bhishma. So Bhavan actually means, he could have said Tvam, you, right? Tvam. He says Bhavan. So Bhavan again is like a aap.
Respect, to give respect.
Doing a respectful way, right? Yeah. So and then again, remember that he's having this conversation again. I'm emphasizing he's having this conversation in front of everybody, so he has to do the right thing, right? Like that. And now he talked about all the Pandavas who were arrayed on the battlefield, right? He listed them, they are there. But here he's listing Bhishma, and then as you rightly pointed out, he was so attached to Karna, or had faith in Karna, that he's listing Karna there. But what had happened was that, is Karna fighting at that time in the war?
No.
Right? So Karna is an asset that you will get in the future. He will get in the future. Only after Vishnu Dev dies will Karna come, right? Or dies, he is incapable to fight. So similarly, in our devotional service also, there could be some like, I'm chanting, I can't chant nicely. Okay, that's fine. But one day the same chanting will become your asset. It will grow. You will be able to put it to your use. Right? Or I want to read that book, I don't have the time to read. Okay, but first read the basic books. First read Bhagavad-gita, right? And then go for the other ones. So, we have a little, plan like that. So remember, there will be some good things that will mature and fructify later in the future in the aid of your devotional service. Like that. And so then Karna. So what had happened was that before the Mahabharat war was there, Duryodhan had asked that, Bhishma Dev, that will you lead my army? Will you become the commander of chief my army? And Bhishma said yes. And now, while they were all discussing all these things, Karna had said that, how it happens. It always happens even in our companies and offices, or even at home when you're trying to do any kind of a project, that, some elderly person will say, it's going to take a month. And then some youngster will come and say, oh, no, I don't think so. I can get it done in 15 days. So that's exactly what happened with Karna also. Karna says that when Dronacharya, the elderly, the Dronacharya and the Bhishmas Bhishma, they were saying that it'll take, at least a month for this battle to be done. But how long did it take for the battle? It took about 18
days.
17 days.
About 18 days. And
18.
And Prabhupada says in one of his lectures that, yes, I mean, if you have to fight real good and get it done, be done with it, don't linger on the fight so far like that, the Cold War and things like that. But anyway, so when Karna was saying that, I can do it in a matter of days, you don't have to do it in a month, we will have results, the war will be over in a matter of days. Then Bhishma Dev, kind of scoffed him, and he said that, he called him Sutta Putra. And then he said that you only talk. Your strength is just your words. Every time you have said that I'll do this, I'll do that, and every time that you fought with Arjuna, you have lost. So don't think that you'll be able to win this war in just a matter of few days. There's Arjuna on that side, when they were having this discussion before that. And then
Mataji, what is the meaning of Putra?
Sut Putra is a lowborn.
Sut Putra?
Yeah, Sut Putra of a Sut. You remember? Karna
Okay.
Karna is Kunti's son.
Yes.
Landed, right? And he was picked up by
Hmm.
So
But I thought Sutputra
Yes.
means he's a son of one who drives the Rath.
yes,
Because
it's a lowborn.
Adhirath was the driver of the
Yes.
chariot of Bhishma, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
then he
It's a
was.
lowborn.
Sud also means Shudra, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yes. Sut. I'm saying Sut.
Sut. S-U-T.
S-U-T. Yeah. I'm saying Sut. He's Sutya Putra. So it's a lower, he's not a Brahmana, he's not a Kshatriya, he's not even a Vaishya. It's the lowest level. So yes, according to the Varna Shastra, he's a Shudra. And among all the Shudras, people, what do Shudras do? Shudras have got skills, right? They're skilled laborers. So they be craftsmen, they do this, they do that. This one is driving a chariot, knows how to drive a chariot, right? So Sutta Putra. So.
Yeah. My Prabhu says specialty occupation, right? Like we are on H1 visa. You've got specialty occupation.
Exactly. I mean, I was also very surprised. I mean, like the realization dawned on me that doctors are held in such high esteem, right? But when you look at them in the hierarchy, they are Shudras because they are skilled.
those who actually do work.
Yeah. That's what it is.
I mean, in this time, we know what is essential and what is not essential.
Yeah. There you go.
Mataji, looking at this, you see, one feels that Karan name should not be given to your children. Sutaputra.
Yes. Better to give names of the Lord, Yeah. So, so he called him Sutaputra. And then, of course, we also have to remember that his Kavaj and Kundal, he was born with Kavaj and Kundal, remember? And then Kunti goes and says, give it. So they were not there. So Karna's, all that kind of stuff, is not. So anyways, so this was what there. And then Karna says that I'm not going to fight the battle as long as Bhishma Deva is there in that battle. I'm not going to be there. So he's not there. But Duryodhan is still listing him there in that list because he knows that at some point in time. Now, here's the thing, that look at how important it is about the choice of our words. And that could be a self-prophecy for your own doom. So Duryodhan knows that Karna is saying that only when Bhishma Deva is out of the battlefield, and the only way he'll be out of the battlefield is either he dies or he comes to a situation where he cannot fight. And Duryodhana is listing Karna. And we know that Karna will step in when Bhishma Deva steps out. And Duryodhana is listing it, his name, which means what? That it's going to happen.
So that means Bhishma is going to go.
Yeah,
he is
declaring that in his life.
Right, yeah. So we have to be very, very careful, right? Right? And then, and look at Karna.
Here, sorry, Mataji. Here listing Bhishma like this, you see, and then Karan, thinking that Bhishma will go and then the Karan will come. Isn't it insulting that Bhishma will go means he will die?
That's what I'm just saying. That you have to be careful about the choice of words, right? Because Karna had said, now look, when Bhishma Deva called him Sutraputra, and people used to call Sutraputra when people were at a lower birth, not necessarily in an insulting way. Sometimes they would call, Vidura was called Sutra. He was also a Sutraputra, right, Vidur? And so he was called a Sutraputra, sometimes in a joking manner also. And you'll see that in Bhagavatam. And sometimes he's called a Sutraputra in a insulting manner as well. So, but looking at it from the Karna's perspective, Karna, when this conversation is having, Karna is saying that so if Bhishma Deva called him Sutraputra, or even if Bhishma Deva scolded him, remember this is Dwapar Yuga. where people are still more respectful to the elderly, right? So even if he called him Sutraputra, which he was, and then if an elder person told something and pointed out something which was a fact, that every time he tried to take on Arjuna, he had not won. So Karna should have just kept quiet, but Karna is just thinking in his head that as long as he's going to be the commander in chief, right? If we win the war, who is going to get the accolades?
Bhishma.
Bhishma, right? It's always the commander of the chief who will be glorified. Who will remember
Correct.
the names? Like you remember
Correct.
Napoleon Bonaparte. Do you remember the names of the people who were in this army?
No, only the Bhishma will be.
Right? So you will only remember. So he just now he was like, I don't want to contribute to his glories. I don't want to the cause that he gets the glory, and then he just goes and walks away, right? But the interesting thing is that look at Duryodhan's faith in Karna's loyalty. He's a very loyal friend. So there are good points also in Karna, right? Loyalty is something that we should learn from Karna. And we should also learn from Karna's behavior and Karna's life is that not to put our loyalty in the wrong place.
Correct.
Right? Look at all these good qualities that Karna has. But just, the association, wrong association.
Mataji, Karan came to know later that he is the half brother of Arjun.
When Kunti Mataji. Yeah. But the point here that we have to notice is that we have to also see is that there's a lot of things that go on in a king's mind, and Duryodhana especially. So when this thing is happening, now Karna is such a good friend. Duryodhana has got faith in his friend. Karna is willing to give his life for Duryodhana, right? In so many places and in so many occasions previously. But then when Bhishma Deva and Karna are having this tic-tac before the war, Duryodhana is just thinking that if I take favor, right? If I take favor and go by what Karna is suggesting, and he's saying that the war will be over in less number of days, whereas if I go to Bhishma where he says it's 1 month, and if I go in favor of Karna, what will Bhishma Dev do at that time? If Duryodhana says that, okay, Karna is going to be the commander of chief, what's he going to do?
I think he said that he will not fight battle if Karna joins the army, right?
Yeah, so if Karna joins the army, what will Bhishma do? He will not fight. Then what are the choices that Bhishma have? There are the Pandavas. He can go and join the Pandavas, right? He's not obligated.
No, that he won't do, right? Because he has a vow to serve Hastinapur until...
Yeah, but he's thinking he can do it. He has a vow to serve Hastinapur, and that he will stick to his vow is something that Bhishma Deva knows, right? Not necessarily Duryodhana, right? That is something that is in Bhishma Deva's heart, but others can always have this fear that he might go and join the Pandavas. So he's very diplomatic. He says, okay, you stay on, but then now here, right, after all that is over and all that, here in the battle, he's making sure that he brings in Karna's name, so that I'm going to keep Karna also happy, I'm going to keep this one also happy, I'm going to keep that one also happy. So look at how many balls he has to juggle, the king, right? Duryodhana, and then calling out Bhishma Deva, then calling out his friend, like that, right? And then, of course, then he's also listing some of the other that are there. Who are the other names that are listed there?
Ashwatthama, Vikarna.
Abhimanyu.
Yeah. So, not Abhimanyu.
Yeah.
Here in this particular verse.
No, not in the sixth one. It is listed Abhimanyu.
Here on the Kauravas army, I'm saying in the Kauravas army, right? In the Kauravas army, right? So we have got, who are the people who are listed? So Bhishma, Karna, Kripacharya, Ashwathama, Vikarna. So Vikarna, who is Vikarna? He's one of the Kauravas, right? He's the brother. Prabhupada mentions that, right? So what's so special about Vikarna that we know?
I think he was the only one who had little righteousness in his side. because
Yes.
he's the only one who said that not to do the Cheer Haran of Draupadi.
Yes, exactly right, for 20 points. Yeah. He's the one who was saying, don't do that, right? And then we have, who are the other two? Kripacharya, Ashwathama, and Somadatta, right? So Kripacharya, Prabhupada already mentions that. How is Kripacharya? Kripacharya's twin sister is married to Dronacharya. So that family connection,
Yeah.
family
And
connection.
then Kripacharya was also like the head of the, like in the Hastinapur, right? He was serving as a,
He's also one of the acharyas there.
yeah, one of the main acharyas.
Yeah. So advisors.
Yeah.
Right? So the advisor is over here, and then he says who are always victorious in the battle. And so Ashwathama, we know Ashwathama is Dronacharya's son. So he has trained him very well, obviously, right? You are a military person, you will train your kid in all the nicely in all the military arts like that, right? And then actually he had got a astra which is known as Narayan Astra. And the Narayan Astra is an amazing Astra in the sense that if you apply that weapon to somebody, then if you apply, and this is so funny, that, when kids are playing and kids are fighting at the young age, they are sometimes, one kid will punch the other kid, and the other kid will give 2 punches. Now this one will give 4 punches. That will give 8 punches. So like, sometimes brothers and sisters or 2 little brothers will fight like that. So this Narayan Astra is kind of like that, that how much force that you apply against this particular Narayan Astra, it will double. That only helps in doubling the force. And the only way to avoid a Narayan Astra is that you bow down to it. And which is such an important thing, is that at certain places you really need to know how to surrender and how you need to bow down. So that's it. That those kind of astras were there. And then you had asked that I think our Viral Prabhu had asked this question. They are always victorious. So some people are addressed as always victorious because they have got a boon. They have got a boon of that they can die at whatever time they want to die. They will leave at whatever time they leave, right? And leave their body. So that is why he is mentioned there as, they are always victorious, because then they cannot, right? Similarly, Bhishma Dev also was always victorious because, he will leave his body only when he wants to leave.
When he wanted to.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have Bhurishrava. Bhurishrava is there, and then Bhurishrava is actually linked on the Krishna side, on that clan, but because of family affiliations, because of marriage and all that kind of stuff, he was on the side of the Kauravas like that. So,
Hare Krishna Mataji, in the last verse, in the 7th verse, why Abhimanyu? He was Subhadra's son, and Subhadra is Lord Krishna's Lord Krishna's sister. Why was he not in the army of Pandavas?
So Abhimanyu is in the army of Pandavas. We discussed that, right? We said he's 16-year-old, and look at how the Kshatriya spirit. In 1.7, Abhimanyu is not listed, right?
No, 1.6. 1.6.
Okay. Let's go to 1.6.
There are mighty Yudhamanyu, the very
Yudhamanyu.
powerful.
It is not Abhimanyu. Yudhamanyu is a different person.
No, Subhadra. No matter, Mataji. Uttamaja, the son of Subhadra, and the son of Draupadi. Son of Subhadra is Abhimanyu. No?
Yes, so he's on the side of the Pandavas. On 1.6, he's describing the Pandava family.
Oh, I was mistaken.
Yeah. The Kaurava, see, after describing all these and after taking all these names, now he says that Asmakam tu Vishishta ye tanne bodhijit. Now I'm going to tell you about my side. Like that. Okay?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you for clarifying.
So we will call it a day here now. It's 7:30 now on the day. And we will meet again today at 6:00 p.m. We are going to dive deeper into 6th chapter of Bhagavad-gita. So please do join us on the same Zoom call, or you can join us on the phone lines that we have for that particular call. And you can always watch us on Facebook. And thank you so much for all those who are joining us on Facebook Live there. and also on the Zoom call here. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaiva cha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Gopremanande Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I'll stop this conference call now and the broadcast as well. Hari Bol.